Hello, my ghostlings. My name is Ghostbat, and I will be sharing with you one of my dreams. I am going to name this dream Orange Eyes. Throughout my entire childhood, and even my adulthood now, I suffer from, I guess one can say suffer, from very vivid dreams that I can remember very clearly most of them. Not always, but most of the time. And I just decided maybe one day I shall share that with you guys and just see how this goes, because I kind of like sharing my dreams, and not everyone wants to listen to me constantly share my dreams. So I thought, well, you don't have to listen if you don't want to, but if you do, I will be happy. So I guess we'll get on to it. This is Orange Eyes. This dream takes place in my childhood home. The house was a little on the small side at the time, especially considering our family continued to grow at the time. I remember I was standing in the middle of our living room at the time, and I was a little confused as to why I was here, because I don't quite remember what led up to me being in the living room or what happened beforehand. But I do remember being in the living room and just standing there. The time was kind of morning, like you could see where the sun was starting to come up, but it was still fairly dark in the living room, and none of the lights were technically turned on. I had a sudden urge to go down our narrow hallway. Now in this dream, it was just like the layout of the house. Down the hallway was our laundry room, a closet, the bathroom, and my brother's room and my room. I ended up entering the bathroom at the very end of the hallway. When I went into the bathroom, it was eerily quiet, and then all of a sudden, the faucet and the shower both turned on. I went to go turn them off, but the water just kept on coming out anyway. So I kind of just gave up and ended up walking out of the room. When I went back into the hallway, it has changed. The laundry room was a dark mist, and I could barely see my brother's door, but I could clearly see my door, and I could see that the hallway also became longer and darker. I felt a pit in my stomach, but I continued to walk, and I went to my room. Right before I opened the door, though, I could hear movement and almost like a knocking noise behind me. When I turned, in the area which would have been the laundry room, which is right in between my room and my brother's room, was also part of the hallway. It's like built into the hallway. It was just a dark, misty kind of area, but I could see a faint glow coming from the center of that area, and it started growing slightly larger, and it actually started coming towards me. A lit candle floated in front of me. I grabbed it and just watched it flicker for a little bit in awe and as well as confusion. It's like my mind still didn't register it was a dream, so even though most people will be like, hey, this is not normal, to me it was, because I still wasn't quite conscious enough to realize it was a dream. When I turned back to my door, I was still carrying the candle, and I opened the door, and right as I did, a gust of wind went right through me, and I heard a big breath, and the candle blew out. When I stepped into my room, the candle, when it blew out, it like evaporated and just became nothing. And my room was very dimly lit, but it was my childhood room. And the time of me having this dream, I was a teenager, moved out of that house years ago. And it was interesting to see it the way it was. And the closet was the biggest thing I noticed. I used to be terrified of my closet growing up, like any typical child, afraid there was a monster in their closet. But it was just a regular closet. And the only thing that was different about it in this scenario, in this setting, was that there was a giant mirror attached to it. Growing up, I've never had a mirror in my room up until I was a teenager. And at this time, I just got that mirror in my room. And it was now in my room, my childhood room, hanging up on my closet, near my closet. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure the closet door was closed and it was on the door. And the actual setting of that mirror in particular was actually up on my bureau across my room. I stood there staring at myself for a little bit in the mirror, noticing small, subtle changes in my face. And I noticed my eye color started to change, and like color in general started to change. I went from dreaming in full color to it fading into shades of gray, black and white. And my eyes were the only thing that stayed color. My eyes were naturally a bluish gray, and they were actually turning into almost like a orange color, but a very faint one. Suddenly, the glass of the entire mirror just shattered, but it turned black, so I could no longer see myself, but none of the pieces fell. My closet door slowly started to swing open. It was making an awful squeaking noise, and it's hard to describe the feeling I got. It got very cold, and there was no light coming from the closet, but it had a strange glow upon it at the exact same time. A long, dark hand with the only best way to describe was like nails that were like claws, slowly reaches out, coming closer and closer to me. I attempted to take steps back, but I felt like I just couldn't move my legs. I then heard a strange type of growl. I looked up from the hand, and in the darkness of the closet, I saw glowing orange eyes. I then stared into the eyes, and I can just feel I was terrified, and my heart is pounding, I'm covered in sweat, and I could kind of see a mouth form, and I can just hear, like, directly into my ear from a male's voice, "Wake up!" And well, that scared me enough to wake up. And I just remember the eyes more than anything, the walking, just the feelings remain, and the imagery that is left from this dream all remain to my mind to this day. And I've had this dream years ago. It's a little strange, but I mean, I don't think there's any true meaning behind this one. I just think it was just a strange dream that sometimes my mind likes to just mess with me. You know, yay, free horror movies. Well, my ghostlings, that is all for this stream. Thank you for sticking around if you did. Please leave, comments if you want. I have no problem trying to read them and trying to put your opinion on certain things. Like this, for example. What do you think it might mean or anything? Have you had a similar dream? And I will be hopefully posting another one in the future. Okay, everyone. See ya.